Guys, it's Fonzie with DipYourCar.com, world famous peelable auto paints. Now, over the past 6 years, the foundation of our business has been built around the DIY customers and the DIY products. We love making affordable, easy to use stuff for everybody to enjoy. But over the years, the products and the technology have continued to evolve, and there's become a professional product segment. And that's where the AutoFlex Coatings came in a year or two ago. Now, they've been a very popular product line for the professionals to be using, and that product line has now moved in to the aerosol space. So what we're introducing to you guys today is the AutoFlex Professional Aerosol System. So you're going to see high gloss wheels, high gloss trim, small surfaces in black, graphite gray, and then a clear, crystal clear spray shield product right now. So we're going to do 3 wheels today, showing you all 3 different products. Let's jump right into the project. Now, as we get started here, I know on this channel you see us leave the wheels on the car when we spray them with Plasti Dip. However, with AutoFlex Aerosols being a more professional product, we strongly suggest you take the time to remove the wheels from the car. The main reason for that is the overspray with AutoFlex Aerosols is much different than the overspray with Plasti Dip. With Plasti Dip Aerosols, the overspray, if you get any that goes through, can easily be removed with just friction on a microfiber towel, or worst case, a little dip dissolver on a microfiber. However, the AutoFlex aerosol, specifically the gloss, is chemical resistant and a lot more resistant to friction. So we want to protect everything, including the car, the brakes, and the inside of the wheel from the overspray. Talking about the inside of the wheel, one thing we like to do, because most people are just going to be spraying the face of the wheel, is utilize tape and drape on the inside barrel of the wheel. That way, when we're focusing on the face of the wheel, any overspray that goes through, again, specifically the gloss is what we're trying to protect from here, will be caught by the tape and drape and will protect the inside barrel, keeping everything nice and clean. Now I'm going to walk you through the prepping process, and prepping a wheel for AutoFlex aerosols is similar to prepping a wheel for Plasti Dip aerosols, but there are some significant changes you need to be aware of. The first thing we're going to do, just like Plasti Dip, is we're going to put the dip release along the sidewall of the tire, and we're actually going to go back onto the tread just a little bit. This is going to make sure that as we spray our overspray onto the sidewall of the tire, that it's going to peel off nice and easy and it won't adhere to the rubber. So you're going to take a microfiber towel, apply some dip release, and you're going to work that around the outside of the tire. Now, while you're doing this, you want to make sure that you don't get the dip release on the edge of the wheel. Now, we're going to go around and clean it a little bit later, but just to keep that in mind, try not to have the towel touch the edge of the wheel. Any dip release on there is going to make the product lift completely off the wheel, and it's going to definitely impact your installation. Now, when it comes down to actually cleaning the face of the wheel, this is really critical. I'm going to tell you right off the bat, if you don't do this right, or if you half-ass it, you are going to end up having some trouble. You can end up having some surface imperfections or some fish eyes when you're actually spraying your base product. So unlike the Plasti Dip prep, this is actually going to be a 2-step cleaning process. And we're going to first use pre-dip spray to make sure we get any dirt or oil off the actual wheel. And you want to make sure that you take your time here. Focus on the inside and outside of every spoke and around the entire wheel. You definitely don't want to shortchange the cleaning process. Now, the second stage of the cleaning process is very similar to how you do the AutoFlex on a full car. When you spray AutoFlex on a full car, our process is full wipe down with pre-dip spray and then a full solvent wipe down. That makes sure after the solvent evaporates, the surface is primed and ready for the AutoFlex. So we're going to do the same thing on the wheel. Now, if you don't have any solvents like naphtha or xylene around you, the easiest thing to do is grab a fix-it kit from DipYourCar.com. It's plenty of solvent for this wipe down, and it comes with the rubber gloves. It's like $7, super simple. So what you're going to do is put your glove on, you're going to open up the fix-it kit, and you're going to dip the microfiber rag into the solvent, wring it out a little bit. You don't need much. And now we're going to go double back and wipe down the entire face of the wheel. Make sure you don't miss any spots. And when you're done getting the entire face of the wheel, just as a safety precaution, just in case you got any dip release on the edge of the wheel, I like to dip it one more time and then just focus very slowly on the outer edge of the wheel, just to make sure if there's any dip release on there, we get it off. After you're finished with that, you let it dry and let it sit for a second, and we're ready to spray. Now the wheel is prepped and ready to spray, and I'm going to go over the spraying process with you, and it's going to be the same for the Spray Wrap Pro Black, Spray Wrap Pro Graphite, or the Spray Shield product. The first thing we're going to do is 4 light tack coats. 3 to 4 light tack coats is the procedure. I like to do 4. It's just a little bit safer. It helps it build up a nice foundation before you start wetting out. And when I say tack coats, I mean light. We're going to do like dust coats, and I'll show you very quickly what that'll look like. You want to be far back, and you literally just want to dust the wheel surface. I know you're going to be thinking to yourself, oh, it's not building up that much product. That's the idea. Just nice little dust coats, trying to hit it from a bunch of different angles. And after 4 of them, you're going to build up a nice foundation without putting it on too heavy too fast. If you find yourself getting any fisheyes or any surface imperfections, either A, you didn't clean the wheel properly, or B, you sprayed it too heavy, too fast. Now after your 3 to 4 tack coats, you're going to start coming in with your full wet coats, and you want at least 8 full wet coats. We always tell people between 8 and 10, but 8 is that magic minimum number. So we've got this wheel we used as a demo. We've got 3 other wheels fully prepped and ready to spray. Let's start. Now we're ready to spray the gloss, and I've got my AutoFlex gloss can here, and I'm going to show you how to prime and get it ready. Now you've got a top cap, and underneath the top cap you'll see that the nozzle here actually has a little bar, and you can twist that bar left and right if you want less product or more product. I like to keep it right in the middle, but if you want a smaller spray fan, if you're doing a really small surface area, you can make the spray fan smaller, or obviously you can make it larger. I like to keep it right in the middle, and at the bottom you'll see a gray or silver cap. You pop that cap open, and you're going to see a little valve at the bottom, and on the inside of that cap is a little metal ring. You pull that metal ring off the bottom of the cap, and then you thread the metal ring through the valve, all the way through like a keychain, and you can see it hangs down here and gives you something to hold on to. Now what you do is you grab it with your finger, you pull straight down all the way, and then you rotate 360 degrees all the way around. I like to go a little extra just to make sure. Push it back in. Now you've released the activator into the gloss can. We like to tell you guys that the gloss has about a pot life of 1 to 2 hours. Now we have seen it last longer than that, but just to be safe, you want to use the gloss can completely within an hour. And if you're spraying wheels, that should be more than enough time. So now that you've got the gloss and the activator mixing up, you're going to shake it really well. I like to shake it for 60 seconds before I even start to spray. Now we've got the gloss fully mixed up and we're ready to apply it. Now on the wheel, we're going to do 1 light dust coat of gloss around the entire surface area of the wheel. Then we're going to sit back, we're going to wait about 2 minutes, and we're going to apply 1 full wet coat, making sure that we get the outside and inside of the spokes all the way around, because you're only going to be applying 1 wet coat of gloss. So you want to make sure you cover the entire surface area with that wet coat, and you're going to go up onto the sidewall of the tire as well. When you got that wet coat down, step away and move on to the next wheel. Now we're all done spraying the wheels, but we have to remember that AutoFlex gloss takes overnight to fully air dry. That means we have to keep two things in mind. First is when you're scheduling your project, make sure you can allocate 10 to 12 hours of dry time between when you're done spraying before you go ahead and try to mount the wheels back on the car. Obviously, you want them to be fully dry before you put them back on the vehicle. The second thing is a clean environment is critical here because while that gloss is drying over that 8, 10, 12 hours, you don't want any dust and debris swirling around the room. You don't want to be opening and closing doors because all that dust and debris can actually stick to the gloss surface while it's still wet. So a clean environment is critical when you're auto-flexing wheels. So we're going to let them sit and we're going to come back tomorrow morning and finish up. Okay, it's the next morning. We let the wheels dry overnight. They're completely dry to the touch and ready for the road. And what we're going to do is just stand them up. We're going to break down all the masking material and remove the overspray around the tire, and they'll be ready to go. Now you've seen these products in action, and before we show you a close-up of the end result, let's discuss them for a moment. Now these are segmented as professional grade aerosols. We're really saying that only experienced users and professionals should utilize them, and the DIY customer should stick to the Plasti Dip aerosols. But why? What makes them so different? What's the consequence involved? Well, it breaks down into application and removal. On the application side, think about Plasti Dip for a second. You don't have to have any real skill set or any experience to utilize the Plasti Dip aerosols and get a great end result. Most people can pick them up for the first time, and as long as they follow instructions, they can get a great dip job on their wheels. Well, with the AutoFlex, you really kind of have to know what you're doing. If you don't prep and clean the wheel properly, if you don't spray the base or the gloss properly, the end result is not going to be very good. And it's really all about making sure you get your money's worth and you use the product that's right for you. Now think about removal for a second. Plasti Dip, if you don't use enough coats or if you don't build up enough product, you don't spray them correctly, there's really not that much consequence involved. You're really not in trouble because most of it will peel off, and if you have any that's stuck there, if you really sprayed it that thin, you can just spray some dip dissolver on there, wipe it off with a towel, or just power wash it. But with AutoFlex, you're using your base product and then you're coating that base product in a chemical resistant, rigid clear coat. Now this clear coat does obviously stay flexible and it's really peelable when it's done properly. But if you don't spray it properly, if you undercut the amount of product or the amount of coats, or you don't do it right, the removal process is going to be a much bigger challenge for you. And that's why we're saying that we want to make sure the right people are using the right products. Now at Dip Your Car, we've never been about the quick dollars. It would be really easy for us to just market these to everybody and blow them out and sell a ton of them. But like I said earlier, we'd rather make sure that you spend your money properly and you use the right products that are the right fit for you. With that said, if you want to use the AutoFlex aerosols, simply click right here. It'll bring you to the individual cans and the wheel kits, which include everything you need to spray the product. But if you have any questions at all, email us, CustomerService@DipYourCar.com, chat with us directly on the website, or call in during business hours. I know a lot of you guys are going to have a lot of questions about the AutoFlex aerosols, so call in. We'll do the best we can to answer all the questions you have. And remember, if you want AutoFlex on your wheels and you're not qualified to spray them, simply click in the link in the description box below. It'll bring you to a map. Put in your city or your zip code. You can find a Dip Your Car authorized installer near you, and they can apply the AutoFlex to your wheels for you. It's Fonzie. Now we're going to get you a better look at these wheels. They came out absolutely amazing. I'll see you in the next video.